I had a lady pray one time. We were in a prayer conference. Oh God, I have never seen before. I'm a virgin, use me. You are using this one, using this one. What about me? I said, that's a foolish virgin. You see, you need to be able to understand that extra oil is what is needed to function. You can be a virgin that does not have oil. Yes. Because anywhere you see God, there is oil. And anywhere you see God that there is no oil, He came to put oil. You can't function without oil. So the reason why Esther prospered in that palace was because of what? Oil. There were many things that other people do not have that she had there. The Bible called one of it was there's a grace. There's a grace that distinguished her among many other virgins. And there was what? There was a favor upon her. And because of that grace and because of that favor, in the day all of them appear, there was a distinguishing factor. It was not only Moses that was born in the palace. It was not only David that was part of those family. There are many of you seated here that when you come to the matters of your family, if they don't call you, they will never do it. Do you know why? Because there is something upon your head that everybody knows. Even the people that are fighting you in the family know that they can't deny that you must be consulted. And you may even be the last born, it doesn't matter. But that thing upon your head is the distinguishing factor that warrant the operation of God in keeping you. And if you can trace that thing and continue to advance according to that thing, you can't miss hold. If they like, they should bury you, come out again. Joseph was rejected by everybody. But the Bible said there was a favor upon the life of Joseph, that anywhere he entered, he prospered. Put him inside the pit was part of the prospering. There were many of you that your parents have to reject you. They say, from today, we don't know you. That was part of it. But you imagine how you graduated. You still, there was something upon your head that is beyond the will reject you. Because when that thing is upon you, there is nothing anybody can do. But you must be aware of that thing upon your head for it to function. And you must know that any point in time you lose track of that thing, you are gone. So Esther, she maintained that order. And because she knew there's a grace that she carried, and she knew there's a favor upon her head, anywhere she entered, she knew it will happen. So there was no doubt in her heart. She was not thinking, is it going to be possible? No. In fact, no wonder her name was Hadassah. There was a beauty that God has already imputed upon her, by default, strategically preparing her for that day that will come. The entire life of Esther was a preparation for the salvation of the Jews. It has nothing to do with anything. It's not because God was looking for a way to create a display, a show. No. It was because a Jewish nation is about to be annihilated. And because of that, a strategy needs to be imputed in a place. The same way that the lifestyle of David, first of all, was to ensure that he bring down Goliath. This entire story of David was because he brought down a giant. That is how the entire story of Esther began, from the very moment and that time to which the Jews need to be saved. And that is why you may be going through so many things right now. You don't know that the reason to which you are going through these things, so that you can become strong, because a day of reckoning is coming. And when that day of reckoning comes, the preparation to which you are going through now is what will be required of you to be able to overcome what is coming. And in that day, when you begin to slay giants, when you begin to do many wondrous things, you will not thank God for the beauty of the training you have now. Because David said, I was in the wilderness alone. My father did not teach me this one. Bear came, I did this. Lion came, this one is nothing. So he appreciated God for the days to which he was in the wilderness alone. The hard life that Joseph went through, the hard life of rejection, it was needed for him to even enter prison and still come out, because he was in the jail. And yet again, people were attacking him there. People were offending him there. He did not, because he is used to it. There are many of you that you don't know that the rejection, the backlashes, the disappointment to which you go through now, God is allowing you to go through so that he can form something inside of you to use you as a weapon of war for the last days. God is tired of giving birth to human beings now. He's trying to give birth to weapons, answers to a generation. So for God to make you a weapon, a battle axe, an answer to a generation, everything about your life must be an equation. So your lifestyle become an experimental unit. So you go through lack, you go through disappointment. Sometimes you even pass through some corridors of sickness. You go through all kinds of things so that a warrior can be bettered, a healing evangelist can be bettered, so that a kingdom giant can be bettered. How comes you are oppressed? So that you know the dexterity of how much the devil can keep men in bondage. So that in the days victory is given, anytime you see demons, you say, get out! Out of that anger, you can exercise dominion. You cannot function in dominion until you have been put in oppression. Let my people go. The man has been in bondage before. He knew that it is not good. So when every of them are comfortable with cucumber and garlic, a man that know how bondage is saying a lie. Now lie. When I was born, I was put upon a basket. There was no better house care of a child. In fact, I suffer out of obscurity. And now that I'm strong, I will not allow any child go through this kind of thing. The hard life you are going through, they thought is so that you'll be destroyed. It's actually supposed to make you stronger. There is no soldier that is built in the palace. Even in the palace, they go through hardness. Do you realize that Esther, if you check very well, I don't want to go too deep to let you understand that Esther suffered in this life more than you can ever imagine. Her beauty did not actually bring her more gain because she refused to defile herself. Because anybody that must enter the palace, before they step into the palace, they must understand, I can't defile myself. Because in the palace, you can be defiled. Haman was too used to the palace, and he understand the politics of the palace, and he knew how palace work. But what he did not understand is the politics of the kingdom. And in the kingdom, God can also play politics. And in that politics of the kingdom, at the tail end, the pit you dig, you'll be swallowed. Yours is to trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. So in the days when Esther was thinking it's about honor, there is a law. This law said I cannot do this. Young woman, was it law that brought you here? You were born out of the palace. You are an outcast. I took you up to train you. I was helping your life. Now the entire Jews is a problem. Why are you telling us about a law? Don't we know the law before? How can this law help us now? The law is at disadvantage at every point in time, because you enter into the palace breaking all kinds of laws. And so as a result of that, do you know that normally she's not even supposed to be part of those that should be selected in the palace? She's not supposed. You need to go back and read the kind of the criteria of the ladies that are supposed to be fit to be wife of the king. Esther never qualified. But because it was a strategy by God, it was a strategy by God. Somebody that was never qualified, she became qualified by grace, kept by favor, and because of that, she was able to outshine almost everybody. Do you know that all of them went through the same tutelage? The Bible said 12 months, 6 months of applying pancake and masarat, another 6 months of intensive care unit of the skin, and after 12 months, I don't know what it will be needed. Does the king need to perceive the smell of the skin or the beauty of the face? But he perceived all of them and he was irritated. But he saw a woman, and when he saw, his eyes cannot leave. And at that very moment, he looked upon her and he became confused. Do you know it was a strategy of God to ensure that Vashti was displaced? The disobedience that entered into Vashti, because Vashti has never disobeyed before. The disobedience was a spirit that left heaven and came and entered into her heart and hardened her heart, so that the glory of God can be manifested. If Vashti never disobeyed, there will be no need for another need for an Esther. And so it is part of the intention of God sometimes to permit certain level of things to go on. When you see shakings in a region, it's to the glory of God. All things work together for my good. I have come to that realization, and I know that anytime I find myself in any place, I'm preparing, I'm strategizing. It was not long enough. When Esther found her way into the palace, she became comfortable. And she became comfortable, Haman began to plan. When Haman began to plan, Mordecai sent a message again. Young woman, do you know what you are doing? So you don't care if you perish. Now you have changed your culture. Finally, they have captured you. Now you are no longer a Jew again. It's just like many of you. I know a friend of mine that got political appointment, and now the person became APC. So when we speak about T-pain, the person doesn't understand T-pain, because he has an antidote for T-pain. May you not forget your kindred in the days when the Lord break through for you, because many of you have left your village and forgetting them. You left them. When the things go so hard in Lagos, now you want to go back to the village. That's why I like it. But sometimes when they blossom, whether they're in abroad, they build in the village. So that if it gets worse, you come back and be a big man in the village. Young woman, it was the same God that brought you to this palace. Now you don't care if we perish. How comes you don't care? Maybe you are born for such a time as this. Maybe the only reason to which you are here is because of this situation. Is to prepare you for this day of war. Many of you do not know that maybe the reason why you are in NCCF now is so that God wants to train your prayer life. He just wants to train it. Because you are about to enter into a very cosmic society where there is warfare. And the reason why I call it cosmic is because you can't escape it. When you turn heaven is there, when you turn earth. So people will fight you spiritually and physically. You are about to leave and go into a job, an opportunity, an office, where in that office everybody carry charm and you have not built your prayer life. How can you survive? So every day, stomach ache, leg ache, pain, this. You sit down in the office chair. They promoted you, but you can't sit in the chair because even you, as you enter, you saw like the chair is behaving like a river, as if it's a river. That is the chair. So when you sit there, you are seeing visions. The way you are, if they give you the governor office to sit in Lafia, you won't sit. If you sit, you can't sleep. There is a spirit conjure. I learned that when the other emir died, this new emir refused to sleep in the house. Let him go and sleep now. Every altar, know the priest. Any other priest is illegal. You will die. Yes. Even the holiest of holies, it's not every high priest that enter there. You purge and purify yourself. So if I concord something and I put on my seat, only me can sit there. This is the way God will always bring us to a point of liberty. He can do it in such a way that a seat can reject man. Throne can reject man. That anybody that is not supposed to be there can sit there and you'll be rejected. Many people can plot against you. You can even give them, take the seat for free. As the person sit, the person fall. When God wants to do a thing, if you like, change Biden to Kamala Humari, you know go walk. When a seat is shaking, a seat is rejected, it's rejected. There is something God can do that no APC person may sit upon a seat and survive. It's possible. There is something God can do that if God rejects you, nobody can accept you. But when God accepts you, nobody can reject you. That was what happened, that although Saul was a king physically, David was a king in the spirit. And because God have rejected Saul, spirit fight and torment him. He will still need a sound coming from the man of liberty for him to be able to survive. My friends, if Esther was not wise enough to hear the counsel of Mordecai, she will perish in that palace. It will not take too long, the king will be angry with her. And yet again, another parade will be done. And the beautiful ones are not yet born. So don't think it's a beauty. Because beauty is always in production every day. Young woman, you are not the first beautiful lady to be born on the earth. So don't think you have come to Apple. Beauty fade away, my young. Beauty fade away. Because at the tail end, it was beauty that brought her to palace, even if you say so. Peradventure, you don't see the grace and the favor of God as said. Let's say her beauty brought her to the palace. What kept her in the palace was it beauty? It was prayer and fasting. Because the time came, she said, go and gather the people, including the animals. Let everybody fast and pray. If I perish, I perish. Do you know that Vashti is beautiful? If Vashti is beautiful, the king still say, let this one go away. Is it you? If it is beauty, won't the king still say? The king has no doubt that he can still find a beautiful woman. He can mobilize them all across the city.